Good day, viewers and listeners. This is your host, Big Law Lawrence Johnson, for the Locked On Virginia Cavaliers podcast. Today is a pregame show. I got my man Casey Pizzaia in the building. We're going to preview the Pittsburgh versus University of Virginia game today. Will they win? Will they continue their hot shooting? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Virginia, your daily podcast on the Virginia Cavaliers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, everybody. Let me give you our title sponsor. Our title sponsor today is LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. So yeah, man, this is our pregame show with my guy Casey. As seems like we're getting more and more into rhythm, as the seasons continue to go on. And we'll definitely be in lockstep come springtime because we'll be covering basketball and lacrosse. But we have a basketball game tonight. My man Casey, let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and let's get this show on the road, brother.
What's going on, everyone? Casey here, Virginia Game Day, checking in from the Virginia Game Day podcast. So happy to be here for this preview episode, UVA at Pittsburgh. We turned the calendar over. This is a new year. It's 2023, and you guys know this is when the season starts. There's no Albany's left on the schedule. There's no, Maryland Eastern Shores on the schedule. It's all ACC play from here on out. This is when it counts. This is, how you build your resume. And, it's all about the big dance. So got to get going now.
Yeah, we don't want to get to the NIT again like we did last year. This is when the bloodletting starts when you're talking about the ACC. Right now, of course, the date is 1/3/2003. We want to thank you for letting Locked On Virginia Cavaliers be your first listen of the day. So right now, the line is -6. UVA is the proverbial favorite in this game. Of course, Cavaliers up to number 11, a couple spots up ranked. Some people don't care about that, but us in the media, we do, because it matters to us. It gives us something to talk about. But I think this team is they kind of went on a lull. They went down. I think they're coming back up. And of course, make sure you catch this game. It's going to be on the ACC network, 9 p.m., like you said, in Pittsburgh. And also we have to give prayers to DeMar Hamlin from Pittsburgh University as well. So we would be remiss if we did not speak of that. It's the biggest thing in sports right now, and that's the only thing that really matters, when we're talking about, someone fighting for their lives right now. So, prayers to his family, and his close ones and everyone else and everyone out there praying for and pulling for him. So, but the University of Virginia is playing Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Right now, Pittsburgh is 10-4 overall and 3-0 in the ACC. Virginia, 10-2, but 2-1 in the ACC. What exactly are you seeing when you're looking at Pittsburgh and the University of Virginia and their records and how they coincide? Do the records justify the rankings for both teams?
So Pittsburgh is a classic example of a team going out and building through the transfer portal. If you look at last season, they weren't the most competitive team in the conference. They were 6-14 in conference play, 11-21 overall. In terms of offensive efficiency, they were in the 200s, and then they go out, get a whole slew of transfers coming in this year. Nelly Cummings, Jamarius Burton, Blake Hinson is we talked about earlier, one of their better players. He was at Ole Miss prior. So they built this team to the transfer portal, and now they're in the top 50 in offensive efficiency. They just knocked off North Carolina. They beat Syracuse. in their last 10 games, they've only lost once, and that was to a Vandy team on the road by 1 point. So this team is hot right now, and we all thought for Virginia it would probably be a little bit more of an easier game. A few weeks ago when we
Mm-hmm.
saw this on the schedule, we thought this might be a little easier game, but it's not, and that's just what happens when you're in conference play. So it's going to be a dogfight, and the Vegas line is 6 points. The Ken Palm line is 3 points. So
Mm.
it's going to be people think it's going to be a tight game, and it will. Even last year, UVA and Pittsburgh games were tight.
Well, you think about this as well. The ACC came in as a highly touted conference before games started. You had a highly ranked national champion coming off a national championship, North Carolina. You had Duke, also with a lot of high-end talent that has come in. You had UVA with a lot of returners coming back, looking strong. And then what happens is these teams start to have some struggles, starting to have some unexplainable losses, and then you have the well up of teams that you're not expecting to do as well. Virginia Tech as well was up there, as a team that is ranked and supposed to give hell to the ACC as well. But now you got teams like Pitt, that come out of nowhere from the carnage of these good teams that are falling. You got teams that are coming up, and Pittsburgh is one of those teams. Right now, UVA is really the only team that was ranked high in the ACC that's still up there. Miami as well. Miami was not ranked high. Miami has fought their way up into the higher rankings as well. Even had a win over the University of Virginia Cavaliers. So, with that, most of the teams that you thought were good are falling, but then some teams that were not on your radar have started to climb. And those are the scary ones. Those are the ones you got to really watch out for.
Yeah. It's conference play, and everyone gets your best shot, especially when you are a team like Virginia that's ranked 11. They were number 2. You're not going to get, just a mediocre shot from lower level teams. You're going to get their best shot because, listen, we won a national championship recently. We were ranked in the top of the country earlier this year. Everyone wants to beat us, and no easy ones.
Not to mention that Tony Bennett has been one of the most successful coaches over the past 10 years. And there's a milestone happening tonight, possibly. And I know you had looked that up and you had the information on that. What's going on with Coach Bennett?
So Coach Bennett and the Wahoos win tonight. He'll be the winningest coach in UVA history. We saw when he matched Coach Holland's win total record. So now we're at the next game, and if he wins this game, of course, he'll be atop the history books with the most wins in Virginia history, and that's just fantastic. It's a shows how consistent he's been since he's got here, and he brought the defense, he brought the culture, and it's carried over. It's continued even in a bad season. We're still a postseason team that wins 20 games. So you just got to be grateful that Coach Bennett is on our side and in our city, and we're not playing against him all the time.
That's right, man.
But while we're on the subject of records, I have to thank the fine folks at Virginia. They put the game notes out today, and if Jaden Gardner gets 4 rebounds tonight, he'll be the only active player in Division I with 2,000 points and 1,000 rebounds.
Wow. That's
right?
stellar, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
stellar.
if he gets those 4 rebounds, he'll be in rarefied air. He'll be the only active player with 2,000 points and 1,000 boards.
That's a great stat, man. Talk about rarefied air. I have something else that's in rarefied air. As a small business owner or hiring manager, you know that success in 2023 all depends on the team members you surround yourself with. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. With LinkedIn Jobs, you can hire qualified candidates more efficiently by matching open roles with people who have the skills, values, and experience to help you achieve your goals. LinkedIn Jobs helps you quickly attract qualified candidates to open jobs with targeting tools. They go beyond the resume data by using insights from your job post, company, and their 875 million member profiles to put your post in front of the most qualified candidates. Identify the most qualified candidates on LinkedIn Jobs and connect with them fast and for free. LinkedIn Jobs makes it easy to screen and rate applicants based on their job qualifications, all on one platform. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs the number one company in developing quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Now let's talk about we're just talking about my man Jaden and some of the stats that is going on, with this team. And you and I in our pre-show meeting, we talked about how this team is so balanced in a scoring sense, and I don't know if Tony's ever had this many players averaging 10 points or more, or right at 10 points. So that means you really can't clue in, or try to lock down one player, because if you lock down one player, another player can explode and contribute the points that's needed to elevate this team to a win. What did you see? I mean, I got some stats here, but I'm really interested to see how you what was your analysis on the scoring, of this team.
Well, we've got so many different ways to beat you, right? Like, hey, if we're playing a team that likes to slow it down, or you got someone who can't really bang down low, we can let Jaden do his thing from the mid post and score at will, because he's pretty much automatic from the mid range. If we get hot from outside, we've got a multitude of guys who can shoot the three. Kihei's shooting 42%, Armand's shooting 40%, Reese is shooting 45%. Ben can get hot, Isaac can get hot. So we got guys who can shoot the ball deep, and then Reese is a guy, when he's in tip-top shape, can get downhill, penetrate, kick. Kihei with the savvy veteran presence and just making plays when they need them.
Heart and soul.
Caden cleaning up the glass down low. One thing, I don't know what the stats are, but I feel like last year we did a lot, maybe a better job on the offensive glass. I remember last year it was just so many tip outs that we'd get from Poppy and Caden. I don't know if we're getting those as much this year, but that's another way we can beat, if we can start getting that going. So I love having the balanced attack. I'd much rather have 70 points spread across 7 or 8 guys than getting 20 points from one guy and then a bunch of guys averaging 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, those are the kind of teams that really give you a lot of trouble, because you really can't key in, as I said earlier. But let's look at this stat line. I mean, we got Jaden Gardner, as you said, needs 4 rebounds, but averages 12 points a game, 5.7 boards. You got Kihei Clark averaging 11.5 points, 2.6 rebounds, 5.8 assists, but almost 2 steals, 1.5 steals a game. Armand Franklin, who has stepped up this past game, went on a real cold streak, but seems like he's gotten back in rhythm. Almost 11 points a game, 10.8 points a game, 3.5 assists, which is something that you really didn't see him do as far as distributing last year. And another thing is he's averaging almost a steal a game, like 1 steal a game.
Armand in the game against Georgia Tech had 5 steals.
Yeah. That's unreal. Yeah. I can't remember the last time any UVA player had 5 steals. Really, like in the past couple of years, for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure it happened in some, in the era of Ty Jerome and Kyle Guy in that era. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's happened anytime soon since after those guys have graduated. Then we got Reese Beekman, of course, which is my opinion the best player on the team, averaging
Yeah.
9.3, pretty much 10 points a game, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals a game. And then we got Caden Cedric, the last starter, 9.2 points, 4.3 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and almost 2 blocks a game. And then the bench, you got a guy averages 7.3 points, which is my man BVP, Ben Vanderplas, and 3.9 rebounds. So there is absolutely even scoring across the roster, and that's what you want. And I think Coach Bennett is tickled to death to have that many scorers on the team. Because remember, before, last couple years, you could only get scoring from a few guys. Like a Sam Hauser could give you some points.
Mm-hmm.
A Jay Huff could give you points. Maybe Kihei when he was hot. But you struggled after that. You really didn't find anybody else who could give you points. You got legitimately 6 guys, and I didn't even name the 7th guy, which is Isaac McNeely, which is our true sharpshooter on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big plus for this team. So, you know, the point spread, or the points being spread out like that is a real big deal for this team.
What's going to come down to and how it's been, they had a stretch there before the Georgia Tech game where they shot under 30% from three for 5 consecutive games.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we didn't, play particularly well from a win-loss perspective during those 5 games. That was Florida State. We won by 5. We were favored by double digits. JMU, we only won by 5. They're, not in the same class really. Houston, we shot 27%, lost. Miami, we shot 26%, lost. And then Albany, we shot 27%, and it was close there for a while. Then last game, we busted out against Georgia Tech. So I think if we can just kind of start fast, I think they'll be aware that it's ACC play. The season is full go now, and I'd like to think that we're ready to go from the jump, and hopefully some shots start falling. And these things are contagious. You know what I mean? When
Right.
guys are hitting shots, other guys start hitting shots, and you get confidence. And you've played sports, a lot of the listeners know with sports and confidence, it's like they go hand in
Momentum.
hand.
It's about
You know,
momentum and
it,
confidence. Yep.
if you think you can do it and you're putting that positive energy out there, it spreads, and then it makes it a whole lot easier to be successful.
And not to not to dismiss the Pittsburgh team, which is a really good team. They've already had some big wins this year. They have some
Mhm.
guys who can ball or some scorers as well. I mean, you're looking at Henson, who had 17 points and who averages 17 points, 7.3. He's a big man, almost like kind of like Jaden Gardner. Similar structures as far as their size and weights. He's kind of like a smaller power forward, but he scores a lot of points, gets a lot of rebounds. Then of course they have Burton, who averages 15 points, and he's a guard, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Cummings, who averages 11 points, 2.8 rebounds, almost 5 assists. And then Elliott, another guard, averaging 10 points, 10.8 points a game and 4.6 assists. So they got some guys who can go, who can really
Yeah,
put some points up. And it's going to take a real solid defensive effort and a lot and strong closeouts. That's kind of been the issue, with some of these teams. When some of these teams can shoot on this pack line, is you have to close out strong, quick, and fast
yeah.
and get in the faces, get your hands up, and make it a tough shot because that's what the pack line is designed to do, to make you shoot long shots.
You mentioned Greg Elliott, and I misspoke before. Greg Elliott was one of the transfers they brought in, not Burton. Burton has been there for a couple of years now. But Greg Elliott is one of the top ACC three-point shooters. He's already got 30 made three-pointers. He's
Mm.
an experienced player. He spent 4 years at Marquette before he came here. So he was a big acquisition from the offseason. And then you also mentioned Burton. Burton was a transfer, but he transferred in a couple of years ago. He was the catalyst in that North Carolina win. If you
Mm.
look at the box score from that North Carolina win, uh, he was 14 of 16
Mm-hmm.
from inside the arc, and he scored 31 points. So he really threw
Wow.
the team on his back there against UNC and got it done for them.
Well, we're going to figure out, what we need to get it done for us. But before we go any further, we want to thank you for making Locked On Virginia your first listen every day. Make sure you check out Locked On Sports Today, the biggest stories around the sports world in 20 minutes or less, plus instant reactions, game recaps, and Locked On's take of the day. Locked On Sports Today available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Also, BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From pro football to college bowl season to basketball and World Cup, we've got it all at BetOnline. If you love sports podcasts, you can even find those at BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts. So here we are, my man Casey, with the schedule. Of course, we got a tough schedule. We got 5 tough games coming up. I know conference play is tough, but these names, are not easy to beat. And we got
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, who's coming off of a heater, beating North
Yep.
Carolina. But then you got
On the road.
Syracuse. Yeah, that's right, on the road. And then you got Syracuse with Boeheim,
Hmm.
which is never an easy task because they play that zone. They're long and athletic, and they make you shoot. Because if you can't,
Hmm.
we are not prone to droughts because we go through droughts all the time, from the outside. And if you go through a drought playing a Syracuse squad, you're have an opportunity to really lose that game.
Yeah.
Then we got UNC, as well. And UNC, I think they're just playing a little Jekyll and Hyde. They still have that talent, but I think they're just playing uninspired. I think they're playing down to the competition. And then they got FSU, which is always, we beat them early, but they're coming, guys. Don't fool yourself when you think when us beating FSU in the beginning of the year that's what it is. One of their best scorer was not eligible. He'll be back by that time. And then you got Virginia Tech, another tough game as always, man. Out of
Yeah.
all those games, which one are you looking forward to the most, Casey?
Well, I mean, there's so many good games in there, but I have to say North Carolina, just because it's North Carolina. That's going to be a serious atmosphere at JPJ.
Mm-hmm.
I it's been it's been a few since North Carolina's come to our house, right? They didn't come last year. Uh, the year before that, I believe they did, but it was probably COVID, so I don't think anyone was able to be there.
Right,
So it's been a minute since JPJ's welcomed UNC to town. So
right,
that's definitely a hot one for sure. At the
yeah,
same time, at the same time, having Virginia Tech come to town was always pretty good too. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
and oddly enough, I probably feel more comfortable about playing Virginia Tech or North Carolina than Florida State because
I know,
Florida State we always have trouble with for some reason.
long and athletic, and they play that tough D.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, man. So now that we got the schedule, we know what's coming up.
Hmm.
Let's get some predictions in. Tell me what you think. What are you looking for in this game coming up, man? What's your score prediction?
Score prediction. I'm gonna say uh, Virginia 69, Pittsburgh 59. So we're gonna win by 10. I think Kihei is gonna score. Kihei's been like we talked about the heart and soul of the team. Kihei's gonna have a dozen points. I think Caden's gonna have a breakout game. It's been a while since Caden's really had a huge game where he played a ton of minutes. Uh, in a win, especially. Last year, he was playing a lot of 30-minute games, but he hasn't been getting the same minutes. We're a little bit deeper, and that's a reason why. But
Mhm.
uh, look for Caden to have a big game tonight. Last year against a different style Pittsburgh team, they relied a lot on Jaden. I think this Pittsburgh team plays a lot different style of ball, a little quicker tempo. So I don't know if that lends itself to Jaden being the feature guy, but look for I think Kihei and Caden are going to have good games tonight.
Okay. Great prediction there from my man, Casey. This is what I think.
69-59.
I got 73-65. Here comes Bennett
Okay.
Vanderplas. I'm looking
Hey,
for
let's do it.
Vanderplas. I'm looking for Vanderplas to come out, man. And I'm looking for a UVA win. So that's it. Anything you got to say for this post game or for this pregame show?
Yeah, I'll continue with the records watch here. If Kihei scores 12 points tonight, he'll pass Anthony Gill on the scoring list, London Parentes, and Roger Mason Jr. on the scoring list. So he's got a chance to move up a few spots tonight if he scores 12 points.
And he already has a record for most games played as a Wahoo. So
140. Yeah, and
that's
each game
it.
he plays from now on will just add to that record and make it harder and harder to beat.
I don't think it'll ever be broken either.
No.
You know,
COVID
you know.
years.
Yeah, yep. Everything's kind of adding up. But yeah, man, thank you for coming on, Casey. And we'll be doing like a little bit of a halftime show with my Seven Cities folks. If you want in on that, just let me know. And I will be doing a locked on post game as well. So, but we got to thank you guys for hanging out. And thank you for making Locked On Virginia your first listen today. But make sure you check out Locked On Sports Today for the biggest stories around the world, the sports world in 20 minutes or less, plus instant reactions, game recaps, and Locked On's Take of the Day. Locked On Sports Today, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you, guys. This is Big Law. I got my man Casey from Virginia Game Day Podcast. Wahoo Wah, let's go. 9 o'clock. I think it's ACC Network. Make sure you guys are there. I know it, just set your alarms. If you got to take a nap now, take a nap. Okay? And just get up, get ready for the game. Let's go. Wahoo Wah. Thank you guys. Locked On Virginia, thank you for making this the first listen of the day.